Hey YouTube, Gold Hunter here, and in this video we're going to figure out how much would it take if you paid in gold instead of cash. What if the dollar collapsed? Could it happen? Has it happened? What if the dollar collapsed? Well, could it happen? Yes, it could. And it has happened to other currencies. So in this example, Argentina turned to gold when in 1989, the cost of goods rose by 5,000% when the Venezuelan bolivar collapsed, leading to hyperinflation. People used gold to buy food and other goods. And here is the reason why it is possible the dollar will collapse. In August 1971, President Richard Nixon formally unpegged the US dollar from gold, meaning the greenback was no longer convertible into bullion. Overnight, the dollar became a free-floating currency, measurable only by comparing it to other world currencies. And so a little side note to this is gold never really changed price between the 1930s all the way up to 1971. It was like it might have changed like $1 or so a year, or maybe $2. Like it was in the $30 range all the way through, $30 to $40 all the way through from 1930s all the way up into 1971. So that's why the dollar stayed steady. So here is an example. In 1971, the average price of 18 ounces of cornflakes was 47 cents. And that was the Kellogg's cornflakes, the brand name. Gold was $4.80. Minimum wage was $1.60 per hour. In 2024 now, the average price of 18 ounces of Kellogg's cornflakes is $4.98. Gold price is $2,400.10. Minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. So based on those numbers, right, $4.98 for cornflakes is a 956% increase since 1971. $2,400.10 is a 5,783% increase in gold price since 1971. And the minimum wage at $7.25 is a 353% increase since 1971. But remember, your $1 bill is still only worth $1. Now, you would figure with a 353% increase in wages, right? Cornflakes really should only cost $2.13 if they had went up the same amount. So see how prices have increased, but your actual wages really haven't at the same rate. At time of the video, gold is $2,400.10 per troy ounce. So I'll do a little bit of breakdown here for you. So when we're paying with gold for items, right? Like if we want to buy, I don't know, let's say we want to buy a jacket. Well, we don't have to necessarily pay in pure gold. We can also pay with our jewelry, right? Now, depending on the carat of your jewelry is how much it's worth, right? Or how much gold is in it. So there's ways to figure this out. So now, again, at time of video, 1 troy ounce of 24 karat gold is $2,400.10. 1 gram of 24 karat gold is $77.16. Well, about 17 cents. 22 karat, 1 gram of 22 karat gold would be $70.74. 1 gram of 18 karat gold would be $57.87. 1 gram of 14 karat gold would be $45.13 or 1 cent. So about 45 bucks even. And 1 gram of 10 karat gold would be $32.15 per gram. Now, using these prices per gold, a box of cornflakes at $4.98, right? Well, it would take 0.155 grams of 10 karat gold. So now, in this example, we use a ring. And our ring is 1 gram. Okay, it's a very small ring of 10 karat gold. It would take 15.5% of that ring. So what you would do is you would cut 15.5% of that ring apart. You're not going to give them the whole ring, right? Because you're going to use part of that ring for when you buy, say, a bag of milk later or a dozen of eggs, right? So what you do is you cut the ring. I have in the example, the dark shaded area is the part you would cut out and you would give to the store clerk or the person you're bartering with. Okay. So, and this can change all over because if the ring was, say, 2 grams, it'd be different. And we're going to show that coming up. So, what you're going to take is your price, divide it by 10K, the value of 10K, right? Which we know the price is $4.98. And the price for a 10K 1 gram is 32.15, right? And we know that ring's 1 gram. Now, if your ring wasn't 1 gram, what you would do is you'd do the price, 4.98, divided by 32.15, divide it by the weight of the ring. So if it was 1.5, you'd put 1.5 in instead of 1. And then you would times it by 100 to get the percentage of you need to cut out of that ring. Or you could start cutting it and start weighing it. Then you're going to have to take a scale, right? All right. Now it's a few days later, and we want to buy a gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, and a loaf of bread. That is $8.68. Now, our ring this time is 1.5 grams to show you how this is going to work with different weights, because chances are not all your rings are going to be 1 gram or all your items of gold. You don't have to use just gold rings, right? You can use a chain, a bracelet, a watch, whatever. You're just going to cut it into pieces, okay? So what you do now is you take your price, 8.68, and you're going to divide it by 32.15 because that's the price of 10K. And that's going to equal out to 0.27 grams. Okay, that's how much of that ring you need. You need 27 grams, or not 27 grams of it, 0.27 grams of it. It's a little bit bigger than a quarter of a gram. Now, to figure out the percentage of the ring you need to cut apart, you are going to take your price, 8.68, divided by 32.15, divided by 1.5 this time, because it's not 1, it's 1.5 grams, times 100 equals 18% of that ring you need to cut apart. Again, the shaded area shows you the chunk you're going to need to cut out of this ring. Now, in troubling times, you're going to need a fifth of whiskey, I'm sure. Maybe get rid of the blues, right? Probably going to cause some at the same point, but whatever. We are going to take this whiskey, and it's going to be $17.98. Now our ring is still 1.5 grams. So we know how to do this first part. Is you take your price divided by the 10K value per 1 gram. You need 0.56 grams. Okay. Now, that's of 10K gold. But because this is a 1.5 gram ring, we don't need to take like half the ring. We need to take less. So we're going to take our 17.98 divided by 32.15 divided by 1.5 times it by 100 is going to equal 37.3% of the ring we need to cut out. And the shaded area again shows you how much of the ring you need to cut out. So now we're going to need a box of ammo because we need protection and for hunting purposes. Remember, it's troubling times we're talking about here. So, a box of ammo, a box of 20, 30 shells is $19. This time, though, we're using 18 karat gold ring, right? So in troubling times, maybe we've possessed this ring for a long time. Maybe if it's really troubling times, we have now resorted to, taking rings, right, from somebody, or taking gold, or stealing, right? I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying if it's a troubling time and you got to survive, you got to do what you got to do. But say you got yourself an 18 karat gold ring and it was 2 grams. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the price and we're going to divide it by 18 karat gold. And it's $19 divided by $57.87. It's going to equal, you need 0.33 grams of gold. So now, because it's a 2 gram ring, we can't just, put 33%. We have to go $19 divided by 57.87 divided by 2 times 100 is 16.4% of 18 karat gold we need. So we need to cut that chunk, and it's just shaded out in this graph of what we need to cut out of that ring to give to the store clerk, right? And now again, I want to reiterate that these prices will change, right? It depends on the price of gold. It could be way higher, way lower. Now, I imagine in really troubling times it's going to be higher, but this 57.87 would change then, right? So you'd have to figure out what your price of 18 karat gold is at that time, or 10 karat or 14, whatever you had. I will do a video on actually how to do it. It's very easy, really. It's very easy. But we'll do another video on that. Well, if we're hunting for food, we're going to need a knife to field dress that food, or gut it, as some people like to call. And you could probably also use this for protection. Remember, it's troubling times. There's going to be a lot of people gunning for you, right? Or thieves and whatever. So I found this knife. It was $25. And we're back to a 10 karat gold ring. And it's 1 gram again, right? So we take our $25 divided by 32.15, and that equals 0.78 grams. So we take $25 divided by 32.15 divided by 1 times it by 100. See, here you don't actually have to divide it by the 1 because it's a 1, right? It's anything other than 1. When the weight's anything other than 1. So if it's like 0.5, you would divide it by 0.5. If it was 1.1, you would divide it by 1.1. This we don't actually have to divide by 1, but you can. It's not going to hurt. So you divide it by 1, then you times it by 100, and it equals 77.8%. So this is the chunk we're going to cut out. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to cut out the chunk that's not shaded, and we're going to keep that chunk, right, for something else, and we're going to give the store clerk the shaded area. Of course, we're going to need fuel for our automobile, and I've picked a Honda Civic fuel tank, and that was 12.39 US gallons, and that today would cost $40.47 to fill it. Now we have a 14 karat gold ring, and it's 1.9 grams. I'm trying to make the numbers a little bit more skewed here. So we take 40.47 divided by 45.01, which is the price of 14K at this time, and that would equal out to 0.90 grams, 0.90 grams of 14K you need. Now, the price divided by 14K divided by the weight. So you go 40.47 divided by 45.01 divided by 1.9, which is the weight of the ring. You times that by 100, and it's going to equal out to 47.3% of this ring you need to cut out. So you cut the shaded area out, you give that to the clerk, you keep the part that's not shaded out. So what good is that ammo if we don't have a rifle to shoot it out of? You might as well just throw rocks. All right, now I found a rifle in Texas at an online store, and it was $1,055.59. Now, what we're going to do, this is going to be a little different as well, because now we're using bullion instead of jewelry. So we're going to take our price. It's $1,055.59 divided by 2,410 cents. And then we're going to times that by 31.1, and that's going to equal 13.68 grams. So we need 13.68 grams of 24 karat gold, or 999 gold. Now you might ask, what is the 31.1? That is how many grams are in a troy ounce. Okay. Now, because we're not using a 1 ounce bar here, we have our half ounce bar we bought. So now we can't, we need to figure out how much of this bar we need to cut. Because you want to be pretty close when you're cutting, to weigh it. Because you don't want a whole bunch of chunks. Like, you don't want to cut it up into 18 chunks and then weigh it all out and get, your price. You want to just cut it once if you can. So if you have an idea about where to cut, you'll be pretty close. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our price, and that's $1,055.59. We're going to divide it by $2,400.10. We're going to divide that by 0.5, which is half of 1, right? Because it's half ounce, not 1 ounce. Times it by 100, and that gets 87.9% of the bar we need to give to the clerk, right, at the gun store. So I have a diagram up here of the bar cut. So you're going to keep this small chunk up here, and you're going to put that back in your pocket. And the chunk with the green check mark, that's the part you're going to give to the store clerk. Okay? Now, you can still use jewelry to buy this. You can use jewelry to buy whatever. It's just it's going to take a lot more of it, right? Or, like a big Cuban chain would probably cover this. But, it's just we need to get into the bullion now. Now we need a car to get around, right? That's insane if the roads are still good, which they probably won't be, but whatever. So this is a Honda Civic, and it's $26,645. And we take our price, $26,645, and we're going to divide it by $2,400.10. We're going to times that by 31.1, and that's going to equal 345.26 grams. Now, to figure out how many ounces we're going to need, it is going to be $26,645 divided by $2,400.10. And that's going to equal 11.10, right? So that's how many ounces you need. So up here, the diagram, you have a 10 ounce bar, a 1 ounce bar, and a 1/10 ounce bar. And that'll equal exactly this price. I think it's out by like $4. And I'm pretty sure if you're close to enough under $5, you can barter that deal with them, right? So we need a house. We need somewhere to get out of the rain and snow and whatever else. And, just protection from people trying to thieve from us. So I found a house here in Texas for $495,000, a 3-bedroom with 5.2 acre lot. It's decent size. Now, what you do is you take your $495,000, you divide it by $2,400.10, times it by 31.1, which is how many grams are in a troy ounce, as we've already learned, and that's going to equal 6,414.1 grams of 24 karat gold. Now, we need to find out your ounces, 495,000. We're going to divide it by $2,400.10, and that's going to equal 206.24 ounces troy. Now, what that is going to mean, we're going to need 6 times 1 kilo gold bars. We're going to need 1 10-ounce bar. We're going to need 3 times 1 ounce bars. We're going to need 1 1/4 ounce bar and a 1/10 ounce bar. And that is going to be enough to cover, and it's just enough to cover your $495,000 home you need to purchase. All right. I want to thank you for watching. And if you liked and want to see more of this kind of stuff, please subscribe. And I'm going to get lots more at you. Okay. Gold Hunter out. See you on the next one.